Hi guys, I figured I'd come on and do a quick video for you, answer a few of your questions you had. I had posted a video when I first got the Glowforge. It's basically an unboxing video, and since that video I've gotten a whole bunch of questions between how do I like the Glowforge compared to the embroidery we do. We do embroidery here, and we just got the laser. So I've been getting a lot of follow-up questions to that video, just basically asking me, you know, now that I've had a few months with this machine, you know, how everything's working out, if I'm happy with it, as well as, you know, lasering as opposed to the embroidery, what my take was on the whole thing. So I figured real quick, it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a quick video because pros and cons, there really aren't any cons to this machine. I had done a little bit of work. I had used an epilogue laser and a couple other more expensive lasers. And so I had a little bit of knowledge with lasers, a little bit of experience with them. When the Glowforge came out, it was basically a quarter of the price. And I was super apprehensive, saying there's no way this machine at a quarter of the price can do what these other machines were doing. And I was, quite honestly, I was wrong, because it does them just as well. I will say the one con I did have, which initially was a little bit of a turn off for me, was it is slower. It is slower than these more expensive machines. So when I tried to crunch some of the numbers with that, these machines I had been working on, when I was used to the speed, were $20,000. Some slightly more, some slightly less. This machine, you could get a basic for like $3,000, or the high-end machine for like $6,000. It's a quarter of the price. So best guesstimate I would say is it's probably working at two-thirds of the speed of some of these more high-end lasers. So that is slower, but in reality you could buy 3 of these machines and still be under the cost of one of those faster machines, and now your production will be twice as high. The other thing is, which hasn't happened to me yet, but if you have one of those more high-end $20,000 lasers and that thing goes down, you're done, you're stuck. Whereas if you wanted to make that investment and you had 3 of these machines, your production is up higher, because 3 of these machines is certainly faster than one of those other machines. It's still cheaper, and if one of them goes down, which hasn't happened for me, if one of them goes down, you still have production on the other 2 machines. So initially, it was a con for me, but I don't even think I would consider it a con anymore. It is a little bit slower. I've dealt with it. I did notice it initially. Now that I've adapted or I've gotten used to this machine, it is, you know, it's not a noticeable difference. If you've never worked with a laser, you are not going to notice the difference between the speed. The other question that came up, you know, for my situation was, like I said, we do embroidery here. So I get a lot of people asking questions between startups, like a startup or like a side hustle, would I recommend embroidery or would I recommend the Glowforge or a laser? So in terms of potential, the laser is way more potential with stuff you could do with lasering. I have been doing embroidery for a lot more years. I have a much bigger client base. I still would say the lasering is the way to go. With the embroidery, you're embroidering a sweatshirt, you're doing a bag, maybe a couple of oddball items, and that's what you are restricted to. With the Glowforge, or with any laser, basically you have almost like a fabricating end of it, where you're making like, you know, whatever it happens to be, jewelry or boxes or, you know, little projects or whatever you happen to be making. You have a fabricating end of things, and then you also have an opportunity for like an embellishing end of things. And I do more of the embellishing side. I do some fabricating, but predominantly embellishing. And I have some stuff I was working on here today, which I'll show you. But for me personally, it's not even a conversation to be had. The Glowforge is just a lot more opportunities with the Glowforge. So to get back to the pros and cons between the two, the pro for the embroidery machine was it came with 2 weeks of training. So I got this machine, I was trained extensively on it. Anytime there was a hiccup, I would call customer service or tech support or something, and they would get me through it. The Glowforge, You get a 4-foot box delivered in the mail, and you are on your own. They have like a mentoring program or a referral program, which I'll talk about after. I am not a huge fan of it, but it is what it is. So, embrace it and you do the best you can with it. But that is, I guess I would say, another con to it. There is no training to it. The machine itself, the machine works itself. So it is nothing more than pushing a blue button on the top to get the machine to work. So for the laser end of it, it does itself. The design end of it, the software, there is a learning curve. And that's where I would like to have seen more training come in. But it is what it is. Like I said, that was the one benefit to the embroidery machine that I didn't get with the Glowforge. So the way to combat that, and I'll get into it a little deeper towards the end of the video or a little later in the video, but the way they have this thing, they call it a referral program or a mentoring program. I personally am not a fan of it. But what it is you buy a machine, you're given a discount code. So I have that code. If somebody wants to buy it, I can share my code that, you as the purchaser would get, for the Pro machine, I think it was like a $500 discount. And then I would get a bonus, and then in return, I would train you to work it. In theory, that's great. It is not the same as having, like, Glowforge come to your site and train you. But, it is what it is. The machine itself, there's 3 different models. There's a basic, a plus, and a pro. I started actually with the basic, but I had some issues because it kept overheating. The issues were not with the machine. It was environmental. My basement gets hot, especially when I'm running my embroidery machine. So the difference between the basic and the pro and the plus is the plus has a more powerful laser. So it's like, I think it's like 20% faster, the plus as opposed to the basic. So the difference from the plus to the pro is there's a slot, a pass-through slot, which I'll tell you about in a second, but also a cooling system. So what happens is, as your environment heats up a little here, your machine's going to heat up and it's going to stop. So in the summertime, it was happening to me. Every time I'd have the embroidery machine on, my machine would shut off once again. It was driving me crazy. I didn't have the patience for it. I went with the Pro. You have to shut down on me one time. So the upgraded cooling system was a no-brainer for me. It works phenomenal. Never had a single shut off with it. So the other thing is, the footprint on all of them is the same. It's all 3 models. It's, I think, like 19.5 by 12 or something like that, which means that's the size piece of material you could put in there to engrave or cut or do whatever with. What the Pro does is they have a slot, which I don't know if you can see. This is actually a notch, which is in the front and the back of the unit. It allows you to take that 20 inches and pass through material. So you can have material that's 20 inches by a mile, and you can engrave and cut that the whole way. It's an infinite number of distance you can have passing through that slot. So the first 2 units are 12 by 19. This unit is 19 by an infinite number. So that, honestly, that I actually stumbled upon that because the main reason I upgraded to this unit was the cooling issue I was having. I thought about the pass-through slot, and I said, I'm probably not going to do, 90% of my jobs are going to be small little things or whatever. I don't need to spend the extra money on that. So I think what happened is a lot of people who bought this machine thought the same thing. So in time, you start doing these projects, you're getting this bigger client base, a bigger customer base, and you start branching off and you're getting more knowledgeable and more creative, and you start coming up with these other projects which require that pass-through. So I've done a handful here and there where I've created something where I've needed to use it, but so the lasering community is a small, like whether it's social media or craft shows or something, you do get to meet a lot of other people who use this machine. I get a lot of work from people who had that same mindset that I'm not spending that extra $2,000 for that pass-through slot that I'm never going to use. Well, they're starting to need that, and I'm getting work from other Glowforge owners saying, I got this job, I need to use a pass-through, can you do this part for me, or can you do this? So I'm actually, not really creating projects on my own, but I am getting a lot of work from other people who have the machine that don't have the pass-through. I don't know if that makes any sense, but just something to think about. You know, if you're on the fence between the two of them, there is a lot of people who initially jumped into this who didn't pay the extra money for that pass-through, who now have big customer bases who need it. So they reach out to people like me or anybody else down the road who bought one who has it. So it's just something to think about. In terms of like the product you're producing, I think I said it earlier, there's like a fabricating side and then there's an embellishing side. I think the people who do best with this are people who kind of down the middle of that road, like do a little bit of each. Honestly, I tend to do more of the embellishing side. I'll show you a couple projects I have ready to go out here today that I was working on. So I'm a woodworker, so it's a couple Lazy Susans, which, you know, I did by hand, but the all the engraving and the writing in there was done with the Glowforge. And then I get a lot of, I don't know how well you can see this, I get a lot of jobs for cutting boards. People like personalized cutting boards. And then serving tray. I think we got some, this is kind of a combination of both because it's some fabrication and then some embellishing. This was cut on the Glowforge, Long Island, and then was engraved with it. So this project here would be more of a fabricating design, like I was saying. This was, you know, completely fabricated. There is no embellishing or nothing like that. It's mounts on a wall and they hang medals on it. It's a metal display rack. And then I did an acrylic lamp for somebody today, a personalized metal bottle opener. And it's another inlay for another board I'm working on. So the metal, real quick, metal. Everyone says, can't engrave metal. That's right, you can't engrave metal. It's called marking metal. It's a different term. You're not actually cutting into the metal, but you're putting a mark on the metal. When a product is done, when a job is done, it looks exactly the same as engraving. So they're going to tell you cannot engrave metal with this machine. They're right. You mark metal. You spray a coat on there. You run it through just like you were engraving. The finished product looks exactly like engraving. So you want to do a flask, you want to do a bottle opener, or you want to do a knife, whatever. You can engrave metal. It's just not called engraving. It's called marking. But it's basically, like I said, I don't have any cons. I absolutely love the machine. They also have come up with a compact filter that they sell. That I don't endorse. I wouldn't recommend. It's like $1,000. It's basically what it is. It's in lieu of venting. I vent mine straight out a window. For those who don't have a window or don't have access to a vent, it's basically a compact filter. It sits next to the unit. What's happening is there's been a lot of complaints because there's filters that go in them. The unit itself, I think, is close to like $1,000, but it's like a $250 or $300 something filter that goes in it. That's only lasting like a month or two. So it's been a lot of horror stories. If you can vent out a window, vent out a window. I would not recommend. That's my opinion. I don't have I've never worked with it. I'm just going by what I've read on the computer and what I've been told, from people who have it. Vent out a window. If it's an option, go that route. You do it, you're done, you vent out the window, you're not paying for filters, you're not paying for anything. The other thing I would say, the other con was the lack thereof training. The way it works is they have a mentoring program. I actually do a lot of it, so I'm pretty familiar with it. But the mentoring program, what it is I'll go by this unit because it's different tier pricing depending upon which unit you buy. This unit I think is at like $59.95, about $6,000. So what Glowforge does is, I bought this computer, I bought this laser. Glowforge gave me a discount code that I could share with people. So what it is I could give a future customer, this $500 discount code. So now instead of you going to Glowforge and buying it, on your own and spending $6,000, you now could use this code. You're still getting it from Glowforge, but you're saving $500. I'm as well using my code. I'm getting a bonus. So in return, what's supposed to happen is I'm supposed to mentor the person. In theory, that's great. In reality, I would much rather see Glowforge send texts to people's houses and train them on these machines, because there's a lot of people who have these machines who go, I can make a couple $100 every time I get somebody to buy one of these. and then they disappear. You never hear from them, or they honestly don't really know what they're doing or haven't learned it yet, proficient enough yet that they should be teaching other people. That it's just to me it would go a lot better if you had a Glowforge tech coming and teaching you, but they don't. So as a community, we just have to do the best we can with that. I had a working knowledge of the software from my embroidery machine. I do enjoy the training end of it, so I do mentor. I do have a discount code. I'll leave it in the description of the video. The other thing is, I'll leave the link to get your discount, as well as my cell phone number and a Facebook link. Very, very important. Make sure when you're picking a mentor, you have some way of communicating with that person. That person is going to be, at times, the only reason you're going to take this machine and throw it out your window. There's going to be times when you get stuck and you have to get through something. He or she is going to be the person who gets you through it. So do not haphazardly just go, oh, I can save $500. This person has this code. Do your homework. Pick a good mentor. And I think the couple things to think about with that is, if you have somebody who has the same ideas, or like the same kind of route that they're going, like if you're buying this machine to make earrings and engrave feathers and stuff like that, I'm a woodworker. You are much better off going and picking somebody who's been doing earrings for 20 years. Just have somebody who has the same kind of niche as you, if possible. Ultimately, you want somebody who knows and understands the software, but it does help if it's the same niche. The other thing I'll say is, which sounds very silly, but it's an issue I ran into with my mentor, is availability, time zone. If you live in New York and you have a guy in California, vice versa, and a lot of this stuff is a lot of people who buy this machine, it's as a side hustle. So, you're working your 9-to-5 job, you're coming home, you're having dinner, you're running out with the kids, you're doing whatever. So you're like, well, I called you, I had this question, I got stuck last night, and he's like, yeah, it was, it was 9 o'clock, but yeah, it was midnight by me, So the time zone thing, as silly as it sounds, it's big, because you want access to that person, during the hours when you're doing your thing, you want to be able to get a hold of him, if that makes any sense. Also, the other thing is, like for me, I'm retired. So I bought this machine. I basically, between the embroidery and the machine and online designing and mentoring, I'm on my computer from the time I get up till the time I go to bed. You have to have access to the person. So, like I said, always make sure you have a cell number, you have some kind of number, because you want somebody who's regularly available. When I was learning, I get up, as a retiree, I get up at 10 o'clock in the morning, and having this machine is addicting. So you're going to think of something at night, and you go, I cannot wait till the morning. I'm going to get up, and I'm going to design that. I'm going to get up and do that. I'm going to get up, and I'm going to build that. And then I would get up at 10 o'clock, and I'd have my coffee, and I'd turn the machine on, and something wouldn't work. And it'd be 10 hours before I could get hold of my mentor to say, hey, what's going on here? What's going on? So that's a big thing. Make sure it's somebody who's accessible. You don't want somebody who works, 20 hours in their day job and then has an hour or two, and it takes like a week for them to get back to you with a silly question that might take 10 seconds to get you off and rolling on your project. So that's like the big thing I took of the whole thing, was the machine is awesome. I wish they had training, but that being said, there is no training, so the mentoring thing, super, super, super important. Put a lot of work into that, and don't take that lightly. Between embroidery and lasering, embroidery, much lower learning curve. You get all your training, you're at Glowforge, bigger learning curve, way bigger potential. The other thing is, as a software guy, I'm constantly training people. I'm always, mentoring and stuff like that. For those of you who enjoy working on a computer, that could be an additional source of income, because you are getting paid every time you mentor somebody by Glowforge. So you could, you're buying your Glowforge. Once you learn the software end of it, the mentoring thing is just another way of earning money with your Glowforge. Even though technically it's not with your Glowforge, it's with your coupon, it's with your discount code, but it's still a potential to earn money. So it's something to think about. Like I said, and for those of you who already have your Glowforge and just might get hung up or have a quick question or whatever, I do all my work in Inkscape. Anybody who's hung up with an Inkscape question, I'll have in my bio, in the description here, I'll have my cell phone number. Feel free to text me. I'm a better texter than I am answering a phone, so you're better off texting me, or I'll have a Facebook link there. You give me a shout out or instant message me or whatever, but I'm always available because I'm retired and I'm always on my computer. But big thing is, like I say, that's the one thing I took of it. Have a good mentor. Make sure you have a good mentor. And I think that kind of covers everything. I'm trying to think of the questions I was getting asked. A lot of it was between the two. Oh, the other question, the other thing that kept coming up a lot was, I don't want to say, it was mostly the older people were saying, like, we're fascinated with the laser. Me and my husband are both retired, but we don't even know how to work our TV. We don't know how to turn the TV remote on. We don't know how to work our cell phones. I do a lot of mentoring, and I will tell you from mentoring different people, and to go real quick to get off that, to go to me, I had this embroidery machine for years. I know every single thing about it. I know the designing. I could do it in my sleep. There are times when that hurts me because I will go on and I'll be designing a program or designing something to do with my Glowforge, and there's a task, a specific task or job I wanted to do, or software to do, and it's so ingrained in my brain for the years of doing it with this machine that I keep doing the same thing over and over. Whether it's trying to draw like a straight line, a curved line, whatever, and I just keep doing the same thing over, and I'm going, why the hell is this not working? I've done it a million times. It's embedded in my brain how this works, and I think there are times when that like adversely affects like the design end of things. And even when I'm training somebody, for me, somebody who has a little bit of a working knowledge, like it's not like button heads, but you're like, okay, you almost have to like untrain them and then retrain them again. The people who learn the best and do the best are people who don't have a clue about that machine and about computers, because it's a clean slate and you can learn everything the right way the first time. It's not a matter of unlearning stuff or where. So do not be reluctant or do not be turned off by the fact that you don't know computers. Those are the best, from a trainer's end of things, those are the best people to work. You will have no problem. Once you learn this machine, it is foolproof. And it's not even the machine itself, it's the software that you're sending to this machine. Once you learn that software, you will be golden. So I said it was going to be a quick video. I know I rambled on and on and on. Big thing is, I would recommend the laser over the embroidery machine. Just a lot more features. The downside a little bit, the speed, but I got past that. The training thing, I'm sorry, if I had my way, Glowforge would have techs at everybody's house, but they don't. So the thing I will say is, of the utmost importance, pick a mentor who you can rely on and you can count on, because he is going to be the person who keeps you from slamming this thing with a hammer or throwing it out the window. But if you're thinking about it, guys, it's addicting, it's awesome, it's great around the holidays. I haven't bought a Christmas gift or a birthday gift, and I can't tell you how long. You'll be making gifts for family members, and you'll be, setting up your Etsy stores and your eBay stores and your Amazon stores. It's just, it's a game changer. And if you guys are on the fence about it and you have the means, absolutely, this is the way to go. All right, guys, best of luck out there. And like I said, I'll have my number. I'll have my discount code and the link there for anybody who's looking to buy one of the machines to save a couple $100. And any questions, hit me up. Like I said, I'm always on the computer. Have a good night, guys. Thanks.